The fight's going to be Brandon Allen versus Paul Bearju Craig. Brandon Allen, 22-5, 5-0 in his last five. He's coming off of that submission rear naked choke victory over Bruno Silva. He's fighting against Paul Craig, 17-6-1, 3-2 in his last five, coming off that win over Andre Muniz ground pound victory. And I believe that was his first fight in middleweight. So he went down a weight because he used to fight in 205. Um, as far as the odds for this fight, I mean, this is another one where I'm actually kind of surprised by the odds here. So Brandon Allen opened up at a minus 350 on Bet Online, and he got bet to a minus 500 instantly. Then he's now settled kind of back to a kind of a minus 450 kind of range. So I think that's some interesting line movement there. I mean, Brandon Allen, he does have an all around kind of skill set. He can do it all: striking, grappling, submissions. He tends to get himself into kind of 50-50 brawls, if you will. So he does rely on that chin a lot. If you saw his last fight against Bruno Silva, that was, I think I had the over, and I was worried the whole time. It's like, and I ended up being wrong, obviously, because the fight ended up in round one, right? So, it was a brawl right away. Like he was just like exchanging shots with Bruno Silva of all people, relying on his chin, and he actually did it. I mean, he actually hurt Bruno Silva and then choked him out. So big props to him for even doing that game plan and pulling out a dub there. Um, I think that Paul Craig, though, he's just showed a lot of improvement in that last fight at middleweight, especially. Both these guys they fought and Andre Muniz, right? And I feel like Brandon Allen had a tougher time with Muniz than Paul Craig did, in my opinion. I mean, Paul Craig just kind of beasted Muniz. So I mean, he kind of showed that, hey, like I fought a 205 for a reason. So obviously, I mean, both these guys are really decorated in terms of like their jujitsu and their submissions. At the moment, I will probably trust Brandon Allen's striking a little bit more, obviously, over Paul Craig's, even though Paul Craig looks like he's improved a lot. I don't know if I could kind of get all of those losses that Paul Craig has had over his career out of my mind. Like this guy he was a total Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu nerd at 205. And, I remember the last fight that he fought at 205 was when like he caught Johnny Walker's leg and just held onto his leg while getting like hammer fisted on the ground. So like I don't know if I can get that loss out of my head. That's just not a good striking strategy, not a good striking defense. Um, I will say that I'll probably go Brandon Allen. I'll probably wait for the face-offs and the weigh-ins to put him in my parlays. But right now, the pick is Brandon Allen. What do you think about this fight in the main event, Gerard?
My pick is probably also going to be Brendan Allen, but I might stay away or just live bet this.
Yeah,
Um, reason being, I think Paul Craig is going to be obviously I think he'll be the bigger guy coming down at middleweight, and people forget Paul Craig's been in there with some killers, so he has experience with some quality fighters. And Brendan Allen, he's on a streak right now, but this is a 5 round fight. And if this were a 3 round fight, I would be much more confident in Brendan Allen. But in a 5 round fight, Paul Craig to me seems like a guy who can grind out wins. And if this fight prolongs into the third, fourth, and fifth round, I think Paul Craig will have the better edge in terms of winning rounds or finding a submission. So yeah, I'm low confidence Brendan Allen. Paul Craig is live in this fight, in a 5 round fight against Brendan Allen. I think Paul Craig is pretty patient. And if he stays patient and makes this fight prolonged, uh, I might live bet Paul Craig. So Yeah, those are my thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just a hard fight to cap, honestly, because we just have we do have some unknown variables, right? Like this is going to be Paul Craig's second fight in middleweight. Uh, like you mentioned, he has fought some killers like Jamal Hill, Magomed and Ankalaev at 205, Johnny Walker, obviously, and Brendan Allen has showed improved striking. Like I feel like if he was able to hurt Bruno Silva, will he be able to do the same thing to Paul Craig? I mean, I don't know. At those odds, like I'm leaning towards like passing on this fight too, maybe just watching it. So, yeah, maybe it'll be a good live bet situation, like you mentioned. I think it could be a live bet opportunity to see how the fight's going first before we dive into something like this. Well,
Would
that
you
does about yeah.
wait? Uh, would you do the over, or what? What does the over look like?
It's 1.5 right now, so I'm just looking to,
One and a half.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
maybe one and a half actually.
over one,
Maybe sprinkle a quarter or something.
yeah, it's minus 110 right now. I mean, it's a pick 'em for the over 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't think this is gonna go to scorecards, man. I feel like
Yeah.
either Allen's gonna knock this guy out or Paul Craig is gonna somehow pull him into a submission. Maybe I think that's it's either one of those. I'm just leaning towards Allen knockout right now, just because he hurt
Mhm.
Bruno Silva, and I don't know if I trust Paul Craig's like striking ability. You know, like is he going to be able to hurt Brendan Allen on the feet? We'll see. Maybe he will, because he has like the power coming down from 205, right? But
Mhm.
yeah, and Brendan Allen also kind of fights a little bit recklessly on the feet too. So I mean, he's been knocked out by Sean Strickland, by Chris Curtis. Like, yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one to cap, man.